Hi guys. So I wanted to give you an example of what your paper or notebook should be looking like as you go through the assignments through Hatchet. So I put together a little layout for you. It's just an example. As you can see at the top, I wrote an example of what your layout should look like. And this is either on your notebook or the piece of paper if you didn't have a notebook to use. So for chapters 1 through 3, I put at the top to make sure you know all of the stuff below is for chapters 1 through 3. So if I start off, I put written response, make sure I know it's chapter 1. The directions on the PowerPoint say you have to write down the questions first and then answer it. So you can see here, I started by writing written response, chapter 1. I wrote the question. I didn't respond to the question because again, this is just an example, but down below, you would write your response to what those questions are. Then for the other part of chapter 1, I have vocabulary definitions, the 6 words that you're supposed to look up either in the dictionary or on the internet to find those 6 definitions. So I have those 2 parts there. Then if I have more room on that page, otherwise, just like in class, you can use the next page in your notebook or the back of your piece of paper. And then you're going to do the written response for chapter 2. There's the questions for it. You're going to answer it down below again. And then the other part of chapter 2 is writing vocabulary sentences using those vocab words that we still have for chapters 1 through 3. So you'll have your 6 sentences. Then another part of chapter 2's assignment is to do visualization. You'll have your picture and your description. I didn't go all the way through, but again, you'll continue to do this. For chapter 3, you're going to have a written response. So I put written response chapter 3. You'll be writing down the question and then answering it and so on. So just to make sure you are all clear, we talked about this at our meeting that we had last week. Make sure that you label and title everything. So I titled the top Hatchet chapters 1 through 3. So I know underneath this is going to be all the stuff, all the assignments for chapters 1 through 3. And written responses. You're going to have a written response for every single chapter. So you can see I wrote written response, but I made sure to put chapter 1. And this is why I have you write down the question. So I also know which chapter you're talking about. But please, boys and girls, put chapter 1, write the question, then respond. Vocabulary definitions, I know those are for chapters 1 through 3 because my title appear at the top. And then you can see written response, chapter 2. Label, 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 boys and girls. Headings and titles are what keep things organized, especially when you're doing stuff like this. You're going to have a lot of different assignments that you're going to be writing down in your notebook. So titling everything will keep it nice and organized. And then if I was all done with chapters 1 through 3, my next part would be I could put Hatchet chapters 4 through 6 because that's going to be the next part of our reading. So I could bold that, make it a little bit bigger like I have there. And then just like before, I would start by putting written response. And what would I put after it? I put chapter 4. After that, I would obviously write down the question just like the directions say and then respond to it. So boys and girls, make sure, the reason I made this video is to make sure you understand keeping it organized and giving yourself titles, headings, subheadings, all of that is going to keep your notebook and paper organized. If you're not using a notebook and you're just using loose leaf paper, for every chapter you can use a different piece of paper. For every 3 chapters you can use, it depends on how much you write. But to keep it as organized as possible, please use those titles, headings, subheadings. Those are the most important thing when you're doing these things. If you have any questions after watching this video still about how to lay out all your stuff for your ELA novel study, please message me or reach out to me so I can be clear on all of it because I want to make sure we're all staying organized with this novel study. Okay? Thanks so much.